Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Talk Conversation Series, a peer knowledge resource by the CXOs for the CXOs. Now to our host, Kanika Goswami.
Hi, we welcome you to a podcast on stage with enterprise thought leaders. My name is Kanika Goswami and I'm the managing editor of On.media's 6 B2B enterprise technology publications. We have engaging conversations with global thought leaders and industry experts, and they reach over 1.3 million business leaders worldwide. Today, we will be speaking to another such thought leader, Carlos Teixeira. He's the head of global business development and strategy at Finastra. Carlos, welcome to this podcast today. It's great to have you here with us.
It is a great pleasure for me to be here and share the platform with all of you.
Oh, it's lovely. So a little bit about Carlos. As a senior industry principal at Finastra, Carlos provides executive advisory regarding market trends and technology transformation across all areas of corporate banking to Finastra's customers globally. Is there something we are missing out on, Carlos? Would you like to add something to this introduction of yours?
No, it was a great coverage, I would say, as I'd been around for quite a while, done a lot of roles within the Finastra organization. I've been in this organization for 18 years. 18 very happy years, I would say. And if I would just add more about the Finastra perspective, I would say that we are one of the largest, if not the largest, financial software provider, focusing on applications, marketplaces, and even to the point of driving innovation forward. And it was a great example was our launch of Fusion Fabric Cloud back in 2017. We focus and we serve all sizes of institutions, financial institutions, and we provide award-winning solutions and services across lending, payments, treasury capital markets, and even universal banking. So really servicing or providing solutions, innovative solutions to all our clients across multiple spectrum. While focusing on technology, of course, bringing innovation forward, pioneering in the approach in terms of open finance or banking as a service, and working across the globe, as I said, with more than 8,000 institutions covering 45 plus the world top 50 banks.
That's great to know. So, with that wealth of experience and knowledge behind you, I'm going to ask you a very futuristic question. Interesting way to start. What are the tech trends that financial institutions and the financial sector as a whole, in fact, should look out for and embrace in 2024? What should they be ready for? What should they be expecting? What should they be ready for, basically?
Yeah, we had some interesting years, let's say, and as we look to the future, we cannot forget where we come from. I've always said this to all my clients and even to my kids. And we've been, as software provider, but more importantly, as a financial institution, the reality is that they have been forced to navigate a very volatile market, global markets and supply chains. This started with COVID, as we all know, and it hasn't stopped challenging all financial institutions. And the reality is that we expect this to continue throughout 24 and beyond. And while looking into the future, financial institutions will need to keep on embracing modernization by being pushed forward by their customers, which keep on demand for a better digital presence and, more importantly, with better value in terms of a seamless and personalized experiences from a lending perspective, but even just from a pure transactional point of view. So we foresee banks prioritizing in modernization. Modernization, it is indeed, as never before, a priority led by a microservices approach where we can see technology being implemented or being adopted as a cloud or even just as a service, so that banks can adapt to the continuing changing requirements. And these are the biggest trends that we see accelerating within 2024. We all heard about ChatGPT. We all see about generative AI. This is probably a transformation point, the way technology is going to be implemented and adapted. This is for us an exciting time for the whole industry. And while we keep on testing and learning with this new technology, the reality is that banks must be modern in terms to be able to adopt and adapt this new technology as per their client requirements for them to be able to service it downstream to their customers. So we've heard about artificial intelligence, we've heard about machine learning, and now generative AI, which is, in our view, the differentiator, or if not the biggest trend that we foresee for the future.
So we are looking at generative AI as as you said, the biggest trend for the future. Are we not seeing anything new coming up in things like automation or maybe IoT-led devices or APIs or any such thing? Do you foresee any innovations happening there?
So when you look from an API, so open banking is in the market for quite some time, right? And banks have been transforming into that direction. The reality is that, and we see ourselves, right? So we in our DNA as an organization, we've started opening up all our technology, leveraging technology in terms of an open API landscape, where we ensure that partners can collaborate with us. And these are fintech partners or just pure bank as a financial institution point of view. That technology is already in place, already exists. It is just a matter of being adopted within the framework of the bank's architecture. Now, when you look to the future, what the biggest trend we see is really generative AI, because it is creating such a momentum of the way we consume data, and more importantly, the way that we present data back to the end consumer, in this case, the corporates or even the retail customers of the banks. And this is really the biggest driver. Now, in reality, and as I mentioned a while ago, in order for this to happen, banks need to modernize. And without that, they will not create the basic scene in order to consume new technologies.
So legacy infrastructures have to be upgraded, if that's what you're saying.
Exactly. And again, a lot of our customers and a lot of market leader banks, let's say, started the journey quite some times back. We just need to ensure that they keep on pushing that agenda forward, and in some extent, collaborate with partners like ourselves in order to make that journey faster in order for them to offer the service.
Right. And while they are on that journey, Carlos, what are the biggest challenges that financial institutions face in the transaction life cycle for their customers? How can they overcome the hurdles and streamline that process? What technology and tools can help them do that? Even now, not only for the future, even now.
Yes, and it is an interesting question, which day in, day out, in our engagements with the leadership team of a lot of our customers and even partners, the fintechs, when we look to challenges, and today, there are a couple of challenges that we need to embrace. The first of them, it's still the regulation, right? Regulation, it's still not where we want to see. And if I talk about trade finance, the digital transformation in terms of trade finance platform or infrastructure, it's been on the agenda for quite some time. And looking back in time, I remember when the electronic UCP was launched was in 2000, so 23 years ago. And it never really took off, never really got adopted. But now, with UK recently adopting the MLETR standards and adopting the legislation towards the simple of usage of the digital documentation from a legal framework perspective, it's areas that will definitely drive some of the challenges that we see today, especially on trade finance banks, which are heavily driven from paper-based transactions. Still today, there are billions of documents traveling around the world through completely fragmented practices, fragmented operations across the multiple supply chains. So as we embrace the digital transformation and the lift from a manual to a digital based operational, we really see that the transformation going forward on a truly digital wave. So if I look from a challenge point of view, I would say that this step forward is probably one of the biggest ones, because it's not only about ensuring that the regulation is in place, then is also how am I servicing internally? Are my operations aligned to be digital? Do I have the necessary framework from an operation point of view that is aligned with the digital transformation? So it touches so many points within the financial institution that is important to have a bigger view, and more important to have the rightful partner. So that collaboration, and we really, as an organization, we at Finastra really believe in collaboration being the new innovation, allowing banks to leverage artificial intelligence, leverage machine learning, real data access, increasing the transparency, and above all, eliminating the manual processes that today still exists in a lot of the financial institutions.
And now to the question which bothers everybody about every technology. How can financial institutions minimize fraud and enhance their KYC, or the know your customer process? What tools would you advise people should take up? CISOs.
So, stepping back and looking to, while we look to the KYC, and it's always the KYC question, the know your customer, I also challenge and I also ask customers, beyond KYC, you also need to focus on KYT, right? To know your transaction, because it's a whole spectrum, isn't it? While today you have technology that are strengthening with anti-fraud measures, so making sure that everything while being digital, right? And it's all tied up. The moment that you are able to transform to a digital world, then you can run better analysis in the data that you receive. You can understand who are the parties involved, which type of material or goods are being involved, and then understand flows in terms of payments, in terms of receivables, but more importantly, in terms of data connection between the multiple parties. Now, the reality is that while looking to the KYC, and I can share some of the work we have done in Latin America, for example, where as we wanted to launch a marketplace from a supply chain perspective. So we at Finastra, we are truly believers that doing well by doing good. We are true believers in doing well by doing good. It's important for us that also we are addressing some of the challenges that we see in trade finance, which is the trade finance gap, servicing every single spectrum in terms of the large organization, but also the SME or even the MSME. And one of the problems that we had immediately that we realized was, but how are we going to address the KYC? Because for the moment that we identify the parties involved and we want to automate the disbursement of funds, I need to ensure that we have the framework in place. And that is technology, right? Ensuring that first was digital, second, we were leveraging technology like artificial intelligence, where we could understand payment flows, we could understand payment connectors, and identify suspicious activities to detect potential frauds, right? So that's how we see then technology comes to help on the KYC and even on the KYT. All of these ensuring that we streamline the process into multiple fold. The first is speed, as I mentioned. So as we are today in a world of instant payments is digital. It cannot be paper. So we need to walk away from the paper. We need to ensure it's digital. And the moment you've done that means that we are working on real time. And by being on real time means that we can automate tasks to some extent completely, by even ensuring that once you have the multiple validation in terms of the gates to a process, we can then even automate disbursement whenever necessary. So a quite interesting vision in terms of how we are transforming from KYC to KYT. And there are even people that are already going beyond that and even identifying points in terms of personas that are receiving funds, that are connected with organizations or multiple, and following the fund from that perspective.
And close on the feet of KYC and securities compliance. So it is extremely crucial for all businesses in the finance sector. It's crucial for all businesses, but especially in the finance sector because we are dealing with money here. So how can financial enterprises improve their adherence to regulatory compliances?
So it goes back to the first point, right? And in order to improve adherence to compliance, first, they need to modernize. That's the first and crucial point. They need to rethink their existing infrastructure, rethink their existing operations in terms of how they are aligned towards a completely digital process driven, right? Then we need to ensure that the new technology is being adapted, right? Is being implemented. I've already mentioned AI, machine learning. We can even talk about adopting the blockchain technology, where we can ensure that we are protecting the data, but more importantly, we are compliant with the necessary information. And at the same time, then ensuring that we have then all the data lakes providing the necessary data points for us to run the technology, and more importantly, for us to be able to execute compliance at speed. And this means that at that moment, we will be able to comply and to meet existing requirements from a compliance point of view. But what is good about all this is that we are not only addressing today, we are already preparing for the future. And as I look and I anticipate what is necessary, I see ESG becoming a key part from a compliance point of view. And when we talk about ESG, I talk about reporting, tracking transactions, tracking goods movement, tracking parties. How sustainable driven are they? What is the governance in place? How is actually the whole people, and more importantly, how is the whole society driving around? Who are they using? Follow the supply chain, ensuring that logistics are also understanding how are goods being sourced, how are they transported, what is the impact of this in the carbon emissions, for example. So it is a really belief from our perspective that as we are towards being a fully open transformation, right? Because we as an organization, we believe that the finance is open, and we believe that the future is open. And more importantly, we understand that while looking to the wider ecosystem, collaborating, it's essential. As we look forward, collaboration across multiple parties is key for all of us to be successful. It's key for us to ensure and address compliance if and when necessary. And then as you bring all this together, modernization with digital adoption, with a complete adhering with the compliance requirements, preparing for the future, and even just thinking already about ESG, I can immediately see that financial institutions have a huge potential in terms of not only complying with what is necessary, but even undergo through a huge transformational shift, preparing themselves also to the next big thing, which is bringing up to the table from a compliance, because it's the only thing that we know for sure is that compliance will always increase.
You're right there. As our risks increase, our compliances will increase, and everything is going to change over a period of time. And now, tell us a little bit about the partnership agreement that Finastra has signed with Microsoft. What is the objective? What are the technologies you'll be sharing? What is the value addition you'll bring to the market with this agreement?
Yeah. And all of this partnership, and just a couple of weeks ago, we were doing Cybos. I was in Cybos when we announced this partnership with Microsoft. And it goes aligned with our view that the finance is open, with open technology, open culture, open finance. And the reality is that as we were looking to the plethora of customers that we service and the applications that we have, it is, and we look to the modern transformation, we saw Microsoft as already a close partner. We deal with them in multiple levels. We saw them as key in order of ensuring that we leverage what Azure has best to offer, right? And therefore, we then look into embracing this multi-years agreement in terms of accelerating our trade platform modernization. What it means? It means that we are going to leverage what we have best today, right? So our trade finance platform, trade innovation, is the best in the market. It's recognized year on year in terms of being the best solution in the market, is recognized by our customers, and the 200 plus customers that we have worldwide are a key reflection of that. But it's also about us understanding that there is a future and we also need to transform. And by leveraging Microsoft, and as I said, the Azure technology, we foresee being able to provide agility, flexibility, and scalability to all our customers while aligning with their modernization journey. And while looking to the customers, I'm already thinking about future customers, our prospects, ensuring that we deliver a seamless and engaging transaction experience to all our financial institutions, ensuring that we will be able to open up through open API technology, microservice-led, leveraging what FusionFabric.cloud has best to offer through the collaboration by ensuring innovation in terms of all our partners, in allowing to leverage this vibrant digital trade ecosystem and ensuring to provide a full transaction bike cycle, everything embedded in a single platform, which is trade innovation through Azure platform. So it is really where we see this completely transformational approach by leveraging this agreement, and as I said, to existing and new customers, increasing, allowing the flexibility to connect, collaborate, and adapt with the new regulations and with the new transformation for their operations to become fully digital at scale.
So thank you so much for your time, Carlos. It was a very interesting and, of course, enlightening conversation. Thanks.
It was a pleasure to be here with you and a pleasure to share the stage with you. So thank you for hosting me. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with us. Please do follow us on social media for regular updates and new content.